Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on CBSDenver.com and CBS News Colorado. Hanging out with our Xfinity Monday Live guest, Dave Logan, joining us tonight on A Few More Minutes. Dave, we had a chance to talk about Nathaniel Hackett, obviously a big hire. What has been the reaction that you have seen from Broncos country on your radio show, on Twitter? Everybody seems to love this hire.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Nathaniel Hackett's hire, Michael, has been received in a real positive way. And I think that's, understandable. I think anytime you get a new coach, there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of positive feeling. And I think you add to that just Nathaniel's personality is really on the opposite end of the spectrum from Vic Fangio's, right? And listen, I love Vic. I think Vic is a very smart football guy. I really do. But in terms of the energy and enthusiasm, the presentation, they're completely opposite. And so I think Broncos fans are anxious to see what Coach Hackett can do. And I think Broncos fans are like anybody else, including the play-by-play guy. Listen, it's been a long 5 years, right? It has not been pretty. It's time to get this thing turned around, get the buggy back on the track, and let's start to play good football and become relevant and get back in the thick of things.
Are you running out of adjectives and ways to describe how inept the Broncos offense has been after 5 years?
No, I've had a lot of practice, so I still have a few. I still have a few adjectives in my pocket, but it's not been pretty. It's they've got to get that fixed. And I said even before Hackett was announced that no matter who the head coach was going to be, whether it was a defensive guy or an offensive guy or a special teams guy, whatever, the most important thing, aside from who that is what is that guy's offensive vision? Yeah. Right? What do you want the Broncos offense to be? Because I think they've had, I think they've had an identity crisis with who they are and what they are on offense. And you can't sustain winning at that level or any level, to tell you the truth, if you really from week to week sort of vacillate as much as the Broncos offense has, in my opinion. So Hackett is a guy that's going to run outside zone. He said it to us on the KOA Sports Zoo. I mean, that's going to be the staple of this running game. Then marries the play pass with that. And I hope and I think Nathaniel Hackett and his staff will have some creative things to put their players in advantageous positions. I didn't see enough of that the last couple of years with respect to the offensive talent this team had. Yeah,
I know Broncos country totally feels the way that you feel. They're absolutely hoping that will be the case. Dave, there's a lot going on in Broncos country. You got a new head coach. Obviously questions about the quarterback, a new owner potentially. I want to ask you this. As you look at the overarching ownership issue, what qualities do you think would best serve this franchise in a new owner or in somebody who comes in and is now in charge of running the team, even if that is somebody from within the Bolin family?
Sure. I mean, I think that, obviously they have to have the financial wherewithal to take that on. I think it needs to be somebody who is not going to be an owner that just looks at the Broncos and says, well, the bottom line of this is I can make this much money in a year, 2 years, 5 years. I don't want somebody like that. I want somebody who has a vested interest and somebody who is competitive and wants as much as the GM and the coaching staff and the players to bring championship caliber football back to Denver. Somebody that has, they don't have to be somebody like Jerry Jones who is that much involved and is sort of the leader in terms of having things to say. Whatever. I don't need that. But I do want somebody or a group that is competitive, that doesn't like the trajectory of this team and is bent on doing something about it. And whatever that takes, that he or she is committed to making those moves. Because I've seen too many great seasons of Denver football, and the last 5 seasons have been far from that. So I'm ready to get to might take a little while. That's fine. but I'm ready to get this thing back on track, and let's get back to a championship caliber franchise.
I love that. I love your passion. I love your passion for the Broncos. I love your passion for the game. And if the new owner wants to hold press conferences after every game, I'm down, the way that Jerry does.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I would actually love that. So we'll see what happens. Dave, we're going to let you run, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Always enjoy getting your perspective on all things Denver Broncos and NFL, and really enjoy you taking the time.
Hey, thank you. Great to see you, Michael.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for logging on to CBS News Colorado and CBSDenver.com.